today we are going to talk about the Goldfinch, the movie and the book adaptation. So before we get into our review, I wanted to give a shout out to LVE Wines.
Yes. Legend Vineyard exclusive.
That's made and produced by John Legend and Chrissy Teigen.
Yeah. It's good.
I think because they were drinking the rosé.
It's good.
Yes, it's a little dry to the palate, but it has a great crisp finish, and I love rosé.
Ray, can we
As much as Ray does, as you can
down?
hear in the background. But it's a very, very good wine. Thanks, John Legend. First of all, the bottle is amazing.
Gorgeous.
I love the bottle, and it's reusable, recyclable. Good job, guys.
I know.
How
I
about
feel like
somebody
I gotta
thought the
refill
bottle
it.
was open when the top was on it because it's just that clear and
It has
crisp.
a glass, cork to it, or a stopper.
So cool.
And somebody thought it was open, Treva. But the whole time, it had the glass stopper in there. So,
Yeah,
we're gonna...
it's a little classy for me.
Yeah,
I'm
great
sorry, I'm not used
packaging.
to that.
It's great.
And what were you talking about at the bottom, Lynn? When you pour?
The bottom has a great grip. You pour from the bottom. And it has a great textured grip for your thumb to pour adequately.
Wow.
Interesting.
Well, Lynn just be dropping knowledge about everything.
Especially about wine, because we know Lynn loves to drink.
All right, so our rating at the end of this review will be brought to you by LVE. We've already sampled it, so it tastes delicious.
A
Yeah.
little more than a
Yes.
sample.
Yes, had a little bit more than a sample.
John Legend and Chrissy Teigen, thank you for creating a very delicious wine.
Yeah, it's really good.
All right.
On to the Pulitzer Prize winning book, Goldfinch.
Did you say Potter Prize?
Pulitzer Prize winning.
Oh, I thought you said Potter, because you know he calls him Potter. So
No.
I said
No.
it.
No relevance. No relevance. Let's get
All
back
right,
to the birds book.
so this book was written by
Donna Tartt.
and the movie was directed by John Crowley,
Yeah.
Yes.
and the screenplay was written by Peter Strahan. Okay, I love the book.
Yeah.
I
The
love
story
the book.
was fabulous.
How about, first of all, the book was too daggone long.
Oh,
I mean,
Yeah,
it was a good
my
book,
life.
but yes.
All my life. But the details were crazy. All my life.
Really? That's it.
Sorry.
It was really, really long.
It really was.
But it was so worth it.
It was definitely worth it.
In the beginning, it was kind of like, what is going on?
You really
Wait,
don't know.
I can't put it down. Now I can't stop. What's going on? All these stories.
You really didn't know where it was going for a little bit.
Oh,
Exactly,
wow.
I agree.
It was up in the air. It's a little dark at times, and I'm just like, okay, I don't know where this is going to end up. I have no idea.
But the descriptions were crazy. Like,
It
stop
really was.
describing an antique spoon. I don't care.
Thank you.
Just tell me you're
But it makes it so you can visualize it. I mean, it was really about feeling the furniture, feeling the...
blah, blah,
It's
blah.
irrelevant.
No, it's not. It's deep, my friend.
Okay.
Little snaps for your deepness over there.
So I'm just going to jump right into this. I don't really have a lot to say except for the fact that I loved this adaptation. The flash forward and back from the young to old. I think they did a fabulous job. They captured really the pertinent aspects of the book to me, because I think if they would have captured any more, it would have been a 4-hour movie, and as it was a long movie.
Very
Yeah.
long.
But it was just amazing. I am so impressed with Peter, the screenwriter. Like he did such a great job to me.
Phenomenal
Yeah.
job. I was getting very nervous because it's like once it starts and then it skipped to a different part that wasn't necessarily that part in the book. I was like, I'd be damn why they take that part out.
Right.
And then, oh, wait. Oh, there it is.
Exactly.
They didn't take it
Yeah.
out. Okay, here it comes.
I was going on this
so
like
good.
emotional roller coaster to be
Yes.
like, why would you remove that scene from the movie?
Exactly.
It's in the book, and then like 10 minutes later it popped up. So I was very, very pleased by that. Like Shiva said, balancing back and forth, I really loved how they did that. But there was a few
seriously-
times I wanted to like scream and be like, why would you cut that out? But actually it came back later on,
And I
so.
seriously thought that they want to take away his entire childhood in Vegas. And I was just like, what
Yes.
the actual heck?
Right.
Did you say heck?
Yes.
It did.
Oh,
Wow,
look at
that was pretty
you.
nice.
You
What happened
censoring
to the potty
yourself.
mouth?
What?
I did good.
Go star for you.
But yeah, this book and movie was
I
absolutely
mean, just the way that
It's
they designed the
amazing.
movie with the flashback. I mean, that was a perfect way to bring everything in it. And they didn't have to go into so much detail, but even sometimes it was just a scene of something that we saw that led us to
Right.
understand what was coming next. And
Exactly.
A quick clip.
it was
Right.
just genius. I
was
just did a
very
great job.
curious on how they were going to put all of it together.
Right.
But the flashback was absolutely brilliant. It really was.
So I actually went to go see the movie separate of the rest of the group, and I went with a friend of mine who had not read the book at all. He did not see any of the trailers.
Did we say he?
Went. I did say he. Because he can be friends no matter what sex they are.
Just checking.
Anyways, back to focus on the podcast, not lovemaking over here.
She's getting out of that conversation.
Really cool.
Yes, abort mission.
Right.
So the funny thing was, after the movie, I wanted his perspective just because he had not known any kind of context about the book or what to expect. And it was very nice to hear that the movie was engaging enough for a person that had no idea what the book was about. So it was nice to have a perspective of somebody that did not read the book and also enjoyed the movie just as much as I enjoyed the movie from the book.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so talking about the adaptation, I personally can't think of anything that I didn't like. Like, I love the way they handled all aspects of the book in the movie. But did you all come across anything that you
I'm going to raise my hand on that one.
Yeah.
The end, how the letters never got out. That part, like...
What letters?
Letters that
He wrote to each one of them when he was committing suicide.
But it didn't get out in the book either.
No, but he did come back and talk to them.
Yes.
Yeah, he can't, because he didn't die. Yeah. So, right.
Yeah, but he still addressed... He wrote the letters, and we had to see his perspective on how he felt about every person in his life. And then after that, when he went to go talk to people about it, that was not addressed in the movie. And I really wanted that closure of his growth to realize he did not want to die. He did not want to end his life. So that part is what I missed in the movie.
Right.
I was mad on the ending too, but I kind of felt like Rhea, get over it. I mean, every other thing in this book was
exactly.
Yeah. It just was like, wait.
That wasn't one thing.
No, it's not over. No. I love
The only part, I guess, because I don't remember whether it was in a book or not, but when he actually did take the pills to kill himself, like, I don't remember him actually taking the pills in the book.
I didn't recall that either.
Yeah.
But the book was so long that I can't remember whether...
He took the pills, he didn't... Whatever he did, it didn't work because he actually in the book, I think he vomited them up or something. He didn't take enough that could actually kill him.
He took like a handful, thinking that would be enough, and then because of his already high tolerance for drugs, he just ended up vomiting.
Gotcha.
And then he took basically the whole bottle to be able to produce death, basically.
Right.
And the one thing that I also didn't like from book to movie was. Sorry, it sounds kind of crazy, but every time that he went to go do drugs in the book, it was this, binger where they were just doing everything under the sun. Mm-hmm. But in the movie, it was like, oh, I'm just going to take a few shots and do one line of coke, and that was it. But in the book, it was like, you really saw him go on this downward spiral of drugs and women and tanking his life because he didn't know what to do with his life, versus in the movie where he just was like, oh, I'm going to take 2 shots and take a line of coke when he met up with Boris again.
Mm-hmm. And then they didn't have the scene where he actually met the dad.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Andy's
dad in the park, and that's how
they crossed paths.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that would have coincided with him actually being on antidepressants. Whatever his issue was. Remember, they were talking about that, and it kind of went nowhere. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the only piece, there was 2 things that I would have liked to have seen, but it's certainly, as you said, Ray, it was just they got almost everything right, and that was the closure of the relationship with him and Xandra. In the book, she sort of had a talk with him and was saying, you need to not hang around that guy. He's bad news. Who's going to bring you down and things of that nature. Do you remember that conversation she had with him? So I would have liked to have seen that because it showed some aspect of the fact that she had a little bit of feelings for him. Mm-hmm. Instead, their last interaction that we saw in the movie was, you're just like your dad.
Yeah.
And then he kind of left.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then the other piece was, I kind of like the ending of the book where Boris got the reward money, and he gave the reward money to...
start his life over.
Yeah, for him to start his life over and kind of get the shop back, and he was able to use that to pay back all the people that he sold the fake furniture to. So that piece of closure was disappointed.
That's the part that I didn't like. I wanted him to get the money just to be able to get back with Hobie, sorry. Because I thought that would have been, that's the part I missed too.
One part that I missed was, even though she's probably irrelevant, but Boris's girlfriend. Remember, that was the whole part of him.
When he was teenager.
Yeah, when he was a teenager, straying away from Theo, and Theo
Yes.
getting upset, and then, you know, I missed that part. Because he really did. He was on
The whole
girls at that
dating
point. Yeah.
aspect of the two
Exactly.
of them.
How
That part.
jealous he got. Yeah. Because he definitely, but everything else they got right.
I understand why
me
they
too.
removed the characters, but I was actually kind of looking forward to that
Right,
when I watched the
exactly.
movie.
I was too, yeah.
Agreed.
I got confused on the scene. Remember the guy that comes to the house looking for the dad?
Mr. Silver?
Yeah. And so Mr. Silver comes looking for the dad, and I don't know. To me, it didn't come across as much as, like, I'm coming after him. In the book, it seemed like it was more obvious. Mm-hmm. And then also, them... What's the scrawny guy's name who was trying to get the painting from him that he sold the furniture to?
Mr. Reeves?
Yeah,
Mr. Reeves. Lucius.
Yeah.
They also didn't show anything about, like, people hunting him down.
Yeah, to get their money back.
To get to get that painting. Because remember, wasn't it Lucius who sent people to follow him and then... No, I'm sorry. Back it up.
Yeah.
Remember Boris and his associate was like tracking him. He was like tracking him, and he kept seeing this person following him or outside. So there was a scene where when Boris and Theo came together, where the that guy came up. His name is irrelevant to me, so I don't remember it. But he was like, you know, nice seeing you again, Theo. And I was like, wait, he's never seen you before.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking maybe they filmed that and then cut that part out, because, you know, they do all this whole film and then they decide what's going to stay in, what's going to stay out. But he made a reference to Theo, like, good seeing you.
It was his driver.
Right. I was going to say, I took from it that it was his driver.
When they were in New York and
first
they
met
had
him.
just left the Russian bar place, and they were doing like line to coke in the car, and that's when he said, you know, I'm sorry for taking the painting. And he finally, like, it came to him, so he jumped out of the car and ran out. Then once they got to Amsterdam is when he said, good to see you again.
Oh, okay.
The same guy was a driver,
Okay.
a personal assistant. They kind of combined those two roles.
Okay. And I was fixated on the fact that was the person in the book. That was the person who was kind of like stalking him, looking.
He might have had.
And it could have been.
Yes, but like I took it as it was his driver.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, got it.
Flat out driver.
Got it.
Yeah. One part I was relieved about, even in the book, is when Theo's dad tried to make him call his mom's lawyer to get the money.
That scene.
Oh my God. In the book, I was scared to death. I'm like, please don't let this jerk get this little boy's money. But the way he was going about it seemed like that he was going to be able to get it. But then when they got on the phone, I love this. I love seeing that in the movie.
I love it sounds bad, but I love like the violent aspect of it, because I was worried how they were going to portray that with him being aggressive.
Yeah.
Like, you have to call him, you have to get this money. And I like how they made it the same way the book was, where it was kind of like, oh, well, you know, this is an investment for us, for our future. I need this money. And then when Theo was starting to question, he automatically switched on that violent aspect.
Slapped the crap out of him.
Exactly. And that's how I felt.
In
when I read the book, when I watched the movie. And so I'm glad they translated that very well.
Perfectly.
The desperation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially once
even when he
failed.
Yes.
And he started flipping stuff and throwing it. And I really envisioned that from the book. And they portrayed that very well in the movie.
Right.
But I did miss the whole, you know, the guy in their house or whatever, and he went and was telling Theo how his mom loaned him money, and so he gave Theo money, and, you know, he had hid the
bellman or something in the building.
He had hid the painting from him for a long time.
Left all that
I mean, it's fine because it didn't hurt the movie, but I was looking for that because Theo needed to see, for me, more about how caring and loving his mother was.
Yeah.
And that didn't come across as much in this book.
I completely agree.
Yeah, me
especially
too.
when he went back and he recognized him and was like, oh, no, it's okay.
Right.
You know, I know Theo, he's a great person. And it showed that his mom did good deeds. His mom cared about
other people.
but then also that by association with his mom, it was like, since she's my family, you're my family. And he didn't have much family. So that part I missed a little bit.
Yeah, and they didn't portray that in the movie at all, other than Andy saying she was an awfully nice person.
Right.
That was
So
pretty
you
much
missed
it.
you missed the bellman, and then you also missed the attorney. Because remember, there was obviously some sort of relationship between the mom and the attorney, which is why he was so adamant about not letting anyone else touch that money.
Yeah.
Because he knew his dad's, you know, track record.
Yeah.
And that showed that they had that connection that in the movie we didn't know about.
Right.
And also this whole like movie aspect of the mother being this illusion for like the whole movie, where it was always like the back of her walking away. And I get it, but I didn't like that because the book didn't make it that way.
Right.
The book was like she was a stagnant person in his life that was always in the back of his mind.
Yes.
But then in the movie, it was kind of like this illusion of her just kind of always fading away versus that presence that in the book was like, you're doing wrong, you're not doing well, this is not the person that I raised,
right?
This is not the relationship that we had. But in the movie, it was kind of like, oh, well, you know, you're on your own, I'm there, and it's like in the background, but not fully in the front,
right?
Like as it was in the book.
I actually like that. I took it, I guess, a different way. I took it as that was his last memory of her, and they wanted us to feel what he's feeling.
Yeah, but not 18 times. Like,
well, yeah, that's
like
true.
a 3-hour movie.
And then also he said that the reason that she's moving, she wouldn't turn to him is because it was his fault.
Yes.
So it wasn't. It wasn't.
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't really portrayed as that was the last vision of. It was portrayed as she's not going to turn and look at me because she's mad at me because I'm the one who killed her. Right.
So I guess that's my point. Like it's more of his dreams. It's why we kept seeing her in that light versus seeing her face. I think he was trying to portray it on what he's seeing in his dreams.
How do we like the characters?
Oh, we doing the casting right now?
Yeah.
Because I'm waiting for casting. Oh, man.
Every. So I loved every single selection, with the exception of Boris.
Really?
Wait, young or old Boris?
Either one. I just didn't. I pictured a more Russian-looking type character for some reason. I don't know why, but like just like the average, like the blonde Russian looking character. That's what I pictured as Boris. But I like this Boris.
Ukraine.
I don't know why I had Russian in my head.
Yeah,
from reading the book.
from Ukraine.
Yeah.
But I pictured that, and I didn't picture Hobie. I didn't picture that Hobie, but I loved him. I absolutely loved him.
Yeah,
that's what I was about to say too. Because he definitely did not have that 6'5" height that the book described him. Oh. But I do like him. I did like him overall.
I do. I like, for one, all the characters, and we all know that I love Finn Wolfhard.
Yes.
Like, he's in so many different things. He was in Stranger Things. He's a great actor.
Yeah.
And his accent to be that Ukrainian Russian accent, I was expecting him to falter throughout it because he's American. Mm-hmm. But he also had a strong accent, and he definitely translated those little, like, witty comments that were in the book very well. So, of course, I love him. But all the actors, for me, they weren't exactly what I envisioned in the book. But then when I saw it in the movie, it was better.
Yes.
Than what I envisioned.
Yeah. That's what I feel.
Yeah, even Hobie's character. Like, I pictured an olive skinned man that was like, 6'5", kind of like,
oval.
Like, like a broad kind of like lurch kind of guy. Yes. But when I saw this character, I was just like, that works. That works.
It took me a minute.
Exactly.
How about Miss Barber?
Nicole Kidman?
Yes.
Oh, nailed it.
Right on point. I just loved her.
And young.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the makeup artist, congratulations, because you made Nicole Kidman, who is just an elegant looking woman, be old and still elegant.
Yes.
Right? Yes.
Because, that takes some serious work to age somebody, but age them elegantly.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, she was perfect. And do you know, I love the Wilson brothers. And Luke Wilson as Daddy.
I would have never casted him as
Me
such.
either.
I would never.
Not as Sarah Paulson either. I would have never casted her.
Yeah. And when he turned up as, the dad, I was just like, wait, this works.
It does.
Especially partnered with Xandra, Sarah Paulson.
Yeah.
And seeing them two together and their dynamic, I was like, I get it. I would have get it.
I would have never guessed her. Like,
all I see is Marsha Clark. Sorry.
Right.
But that's all I see when I look at her. From OJ. OJ Lawyer.
From the OJ movie?
And all I see is American Horror Story.
Yeah.
All I see is American Horror Story with her also.
Too.
But because she had on that dark wig.
Yeah.
It's all like the leopard print. I was like, whoa, first of all, she does not expose her body at anything. And her in a bikini, I was like, look at you stepping out of your like comfort zone.
Right.
Yeah, definitely nice body, but like it's just not her character normally, what she normally is.
But she knocked that part out too. Yes,
she did.
When she was chewing that gum, I was like, oh, I'm about
Great
to like
actress.
snag that gum out of her mouth. She was good. They nailed it with the casting.
They nailed it.
Yeah, the casting was really, really.
Even with like the old and young, the younger Theo, Ainsley Elgart.
Oates.
What?
Oates is the younger.
Yeah, my bad. So Oates, vaguely, my bad. His detachment that he showed in his face as everything was going on with his mom, like I guess his way of grieving, but also wanting to be a part of this new family. His facial expressions, his demeanor.
Oh, yeah.
I loved how he portrayed that grief, but still knowing that he has to be strong because he's already kind of experienced loss by losing his dad when his dad left, and seeing that he had the little small family with him and his mom, but then losing his like the last piece of family he had, his facial expressions, his mannerisms. I loved every bit of young Theo.
He did a really good job.
I like Pippa. She was gorgeous.
Yeah, she was.
I mean, the younger Pippa. Oh my gosh, she was so cute.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
she was a
agree.
cutie. Who played Pippa's husband?
She wasn't married.
That was her
Theo?
boyfriend. No,
Her
the one
boyfriend,
that she was
Everett.
living with, Everett.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
I forget.
Because he
Was he relevant to the movie, Rhea?
He's exactly how I pictured too.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, really?
He
Yeah.
was.
I don't know that I actually pictured or zoned in on him.
I did because Theo was just, like, he's a loser.
There was a part of me that wished they had changed the ending and made him and Theo and Peppa live happily ever after.
No, that's not what the story's about.
I know, but I just wanted them to be
Wrong with
together
you
so
people?
bad.
Take another sip.
Right?
I wanted them to be together so bad.
One of my favorite parts of the movie, though, was when they found out that
Should we need some more? I think you need some more.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
that Theo's dad died when they were in the house with Xandra and all her friends, and they were so high out of their minds.
Oh my God,
And
that
Boris,
scene.
and then Boris gets up and walks and grabs a glass of wine. And he turns around, and she was like, "Excuse me, you're not old enough to drink." He was like, "My apologies."
I
You
thought
can
you
see
couldn't
me?
couldn't see me.
I died laughing.
It's so funny.
And that scene, like, for kids to, for one, not have, like, been on, like, an acid trip because, like, they're kids.
Right.
To be able to portray that, I was dying.
Yeah, that was
like,
hilarious.
I mean, of course, that was all their imagination,
Right.
stewing all that up. And, I mean, I've never been on an acid trip, but that's what I would have imagined it
Right,
been like.
exactly.
They literally be like, oh, you can see me?
I wish they would have showed a little bit, because remember, Boris was like, "Oh my God, all I see is sparks coming out of her mouth." And
Yes.
I wish they would have showed that a little bit, like just the fun
See,
part
I
of
love
what
how
they see.
it wasn't what they saw. It was what, like, of course, like, what they saw, but we didn't see it because their facial expressions gave enough
hilarious.
of to be like, whoa, she has sparks coming out of her mouth, but I gotta keep myself together because they're all home and not supposed to be home,
Right.
and act normal. So, like, the way that their facial expressions and their body language portrayed the sparks coming out of their mouth and, like, their faces shifting and, like, oh, you can see me. I
That was
loved
so
every
funny.
bit of it.
That was the
I was like
funniest moment ever.
obnoxiously laughing in the theater. I know people beside me are probably hating me, but hey, it was
I like there
hilarious.
was a lot of different funny little scenes that I like that they added.
Yes, I agree.
But yeah.
Well, I also like their scene. Their scene late when they, of course, are high and they are laying out at the pool.
Yes.
That was a really nice scene.
It was like,
as
how do
well.
you know when it's going to work? And then they switched to them just laying out in the middle of the night.
Right. How about the kiss when Boris got in the cab?
Oh my
I mean, we
God.
read that in the book, but I was like, when Theo got in the cab and Boris gave him the kiss, he was like, okay.
The suspense with that, well, after the kiss, when he said, just wait one more day.
Yeah.
My friend that I went to the movie with, he said, well, why does he need to wait one more day? I don't understand. And it took every bit of me not to
Yes.
spoil it, so he can say, what he was waiting for. But he kept asking, what is he waiting for? I was like, if you don't watch this movie.
Right. And shut your face.
From a perspective of not knowing,
Yeah.
it was so hard to hold
know.
it in.
Well, it's so interesting because I was actually afraid that they were going to let us as the viewers see him switch it. And so we went through the whole movie.
that
We would
is
go through
such
the
a good
whole
point.
movie
Oh, they couldn't
knowing
have.
that he
Right.
switched it. Well, you remember when we did Bernadette,
That was
they
my
let us
big
know
issue.
that we knew that she wasn't missing.
Yeah.
Right.
So I was actually scared that we were going to know this whole time that was a fake one in there. And so I'm really glad for those people who didn't read the book that they didn't tell us as the audience, and that we didn't even realize it was a fake until Theo did in the movie.
That is a good point, and I'm for one glad that you did not mention that before, right now, because I would have been so mad if they spoiled it, because I knew what was going to happen, but that suspense, that build up, is what made that conversation in the car being like, oh well, you don't know that I have it, or that it's gone.
Like you're an idiot.
When you saw the whole news post about Miami all these years, I was like, I know, I'm so mad for you.
Right.
So I'm so glad we did not spoil it. That's a good point to bring up.
That would have definitely made me give this a very different rating.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So speaking of rating, are we ready to rate this?
I think we are.
Well, quick fact.
Well, no, we're not.
Sorry, really quick.
And we're back.
Because I didn't know that Goldfinch had an actual meaning. Did you guys know that?
Yes.
Yes, and it all brings everything into perspective with the movie.
Go ahead, drop some knowledge.
I got y'all. Okay. So, look, Rhea has this look on her face
right now.
It's irrelevant.
Did she just roll her eyes in the back of her head? Like, all I see is the whites of her eyes right now.
I hate you so much right now.
But she's still gonna drop that knowledge.
I'm still gonna drop the knowledge.
Go ahead, drop it.
So Goldfinch signifies abundance and prosperity. It symbolizes the importance of positivity and optimism, and the value of happiness, joy, and simplicity in your life. Isn't that wraps it all up?
Can you summarize that for me?
Off of what?
Well, can you summarize that in your own damn words?
So when you said that it symbolizes something, I was thinking about the goldfinch, the bird, is also
caged
in the picture.
That's what the painting is supposed to represent.
Yeah, I didn't think that deep. I went to
really?
That's painting of a bird.
Now, what'd you say now?
Painting a box.
Basically, what Boris was trying to tell him in his little speech after he called the art police is what he refers it to.
When they were in the cafe, he's like, drink your coffee.
Right.
Because he was still coming off of detoxing from overdosing.
Exactly.
So he basically was saying what?
That you make mistakes, but sometimes
good comes out of the mistakes.
Right. From
all them paintings was found.
It doesn't make you a bad person. It just makes you human.
Even though you stole the paintings, they found more paintings because of everything that you did bad.
So all the bad things that he did kind of led.
I get it. I needed her to put that in her own words. Some of this bullshit on this piece of paper saying abundance in the rectifier.
Is this a rectifier?
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
That was a Puli-Tang language.
Sibitime or Sibitang.
Look that up.
Clappy, clappy, wappy.
Okay,
So we get into the rating now?
Yeah. Should we get to the rating?
Probably.
I'm gonna give this a full glass of wine.
Great.
I got nothing else to say.
So I will second that. I'm going to give it a full glass. I loved every bit of it, even though I was a little disappointed with the ending with the not thought reading of letters. I still get a full glass.
Full glass for me. This is Rhea. Bing, bing.
Really? I definitely give it a full glass. I would watch and read this book again if it wasn't, $115,000 long.
Is you crazy?
Full glass.
So
That's
four
a full
full glasses
bottle.
is a full bottle
Of LVE.
Yes, deliciousness.
All right, well, thanks for tuning into this podcast. Please catch us on the next episode.
Thank you, John Legend and Chrissy Teigen, for this bottle.
Deliciousness.
Follow us on Read, Watch, Wine, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
All right.